Thanks for joining us today. My name is Ashley Bodie. I am the Fellowships and Experiential Learning Advisor with the Matthews Center for Career Development, and I'm joined by my colleague Alexandra from the Office of Education Abroad. Today, we are going to give you some information about a very exciting and rewarding opportunity fellowship called the Frederick Douglass Global Fellowship Award. Alexandra?
Yes, thanks, Ashley. Again, I'm Alexandra. I work in the Office of Education Abroad. I advise on all things study abroad between semester and summer academic year programs. And this particular program is run through CIEE, which is one of our reputed partner providers for study abroad. And it's a program run over the summer, specifically for students of color. If you can go to the next slide, Ashley. This fellowship was designed in honor of Frederick Douglass. Obviously, it's named after him. And if you know anything about Frederick Douglass, he was a prominent US official and diplomat. He was a renowned abolitionist and author, publisher, and gifted orator. So this fellowship is in his honor, and also to somewhat follow in his footsteps from when he had a very enlightening and impactful experience in Ireland.
So Alexandra mentioned 27-year-old abolitionist Frederick Douglass and the Irish reformer Daniel O'Connell met in Dublin in 1845, and that trip transformed Douglass's life. Next, I'd like to show you a quick video that will give you some more information about the fellowship, but also allow you to hear firsthand experiences from previous fellows.
Frederick Douglass, the great American statesman, traveled to Ireland over 175 years ago, and for the first time felt truly free. He imagined, I'm sure, in those days when he was in Ireland, that you would be coming behind him. That was part of his courage and his vision for his country and for our world. Frederick Douglass passed you a baton, and the question will be, during your part of the race, when you're carrying the baton, what will you do with it?
Less than 6% of students currently studying abroad are Black. In order for me to become more culturally aware and culturally sensitive to everything that's going on around me, I know that I need to get out there and I need to study abroad and travel abroad.
The Frederick Douglass Global Fellowship was developed for students of color who are currently underrepresented on study abroad programs. It's awarded to students who embody the spirit of Douglass himself, who share his desire to agitate and improve the lives of others.
You have been selected from a record number of applicants to polish your leadership skills, to expand your commitment to social justice, and to communicate.
I believe there is no greater form of experiential learning for our young people, particularly diverse young people.
And as a first-generation Latina college student, I'm extremely grateful to be able to use travel as a vehicle for leadership opportunities and cross-cultural exchange. I hope to be able to use the many lessons I will learn and experiences that I will gain through this fellowship to continue to advance positive change in the United States upon my return.
I'm looking at the screen to see all of the faces of our young leaders. Congratulations. Your nation is so proud of you.
You will return changed.
To follow in the footsteps of Frederick Douglass, it's quite mind-blowing actually to walk some of the paths that he's walked and feel that connection.
It's very important that this is perceived and practiced as an experience of solidarity, that no one walks this walk on their own.
Honestly, it's very overwhelming, I should say. It kind of makes me feel like I need to live up to something.
But I consider the Frederick Douglass Fellows as ambassadors for Frederick Douglass. And I want to ask you, because I want to know from you how impactful it was being able to come and spend time and walk in his footsteps.
After meeting his great-great-granddaughter, she has now informed me I could be great within my own means.
This is still an at-risk environment.
An experience that I'll definitely take with me is going to Belfast.
The wall that separates the Protestant English and Irish Catholic.
These gates that you've walked through, they were opened this morning and they'll close tonight.
Seeing the conflict there, seeing the two different sides and how generation after generation are exposed to this trauma has definitely left an impression on me when it comes to conflict resolution and how I want to go into my future career in international relations.
I wanted this lesson to really be a group discussion.
This fight is just not a fight for myself, but it's really a global fight.
Every single person on this trip has taught me something. It's a really beautiful thing, actually. You can't get that anywhere else.
And enjoy your stay in Ireland, and may you come back.
It is even more important to ensure that the door stays open for those who want to follow in those footsteps.
I don't want to be the last person to go on the Frederick Douglass Global Fellowship from Hampton. I want to be the first of many.
That's why I've committed to support students from my institution.
Apply, apply, apply. This is an amazing opportunity to at least throw your hat into the ring.
When you come back, though, there is an expectation that you share what you have learned.
But what did Frederick Douglass do? He went home and he agitated.
Because just like democracy, just like civil rights, it's an ongoing process.
I aspire to be the kind of leader that can use his skills that he learned to create some good trouble.
I aspire to deconstruct systems of oppression.
I aspire to be a change maker in the healthcare field.
I aspire to be an exceptional educator,
a learner, a teacher.
I aspire to be a credit to my race and to my family and to the United States.
I aspired.
I aspired. I aspired.
I aspired. I aspired.
I aspired.
I aspired.
I aspire to be extraordinary.
Like Frederick Douglass in Ireland, you can come as you are, and you can leave who you aspire to be. Frederick Douglass.
All right. Sorry, my audio is lagging a little bit. Yeah, that was a really great video. Most of it tried to convey as a Frederick Douglass Fellow, you'll be exploring issues of conflict and injustice from various perspectives, seeking positive change in communities, both at home and abroad, especially in this Ireland context. As a fellow, you'll be based in Dublin, but as the video said, you'll be kind of going on a pilgrimage and honoring and following the footsteps of Frederick Douglass around Ireland when he was there in 1845, campaigning against slavery and oppression. The core academic aspect, you'd be taking a course through CIEE that is a cross-cultural leadership course with groups and communities. And the program itself would run from July 11th to August 6th this coming summer.
Now, I hope that after watching that video and hearing more about the fellowship, you are indeed interested and hoping to apply. Let's go through some of the eligibility requirements. This program is open to undergraduate students that are in their first year, sophomore year, or junior year. First years, if you're watching and you're saying, oh, I have time, I can do it next summer or the summer after, I encourage you to go ahead and apply. If you're not selected, reapply your sophomore year, reapply your junior year. Your application will only get better. Students must have a minimum GPA of 3.0. If your GPA is a 3.0 or a 3.1, don't disqualify yourself. That minimum is set for a reason, and you still are eligible and could be selected. You also need to be a US citizen, US national, or permanent resident. And as I mentioned in the video, identify as typically, or identify as a ethnicity or race that is typically underrepresented on study abroad trips. So that could be American Indian, Alaska Native, Asian, Black, African American, Hispanic Latino, Native American, or other Pacific Islander. And lastly, submit the application. February 14th is the deadline, which is Frederick Douglass's birthday. You have just over a month to get the application done, and this application is actually shorter than a lot of fellowship programs. So you have plenty of time to get it done. Please do the application.
Just to add to that deadline, even the CIEE's Frederick Douglass deadline is February 14th. Davidson's study abroad application deadline is a little different, and it's a little earlier. Since it would be a summer program, you would need to apply through the Davidson portal. I'll explain that a little bit later, which is due February 1st. And so you would also need to try and submit your Frederick Douglass Fellowship application directly to CIEE by February 1st, which is Davidson's deadline. And like Ashley said, it's a pretty straightforward application. You would need a letter of recommendation from a faculty or administrator, a copy of your transcript, and a 3 to 4 minute personal video. They don't require any essays. They don't require, you know, this, that, and the other, like a lot of other applications. It's just a personal video that connects you with Frederick Douglass, why his life might inspire you to follow in his footsteps and go on this experience, and why you're interested in this specific study abroad opportunity, whether that be like the academic aspect or the conflict and social justice piece, however you feel connected to this program and why you personally want to go on it. And then give an example of a time that you've ever tried to solve a social problem or improve the lives of others. And that can be, you know, anything. You can make it personal. It can be something from your resume that you did in high school or in college. But I think what the Frederick Douglass Fellowship wants to see is they want to see the real you, and they want to see your passion for social justice and why this experience would be beneficial to you.
So as you begin your application, there are a few tips that CIEE shared, and I would like to share them with you. Tip 1 is the headshot. Make sure you choose a photo that is clear and recognizable. This photo will be released and used in official press releases if you are indeed selected as one of the fellows. Tip 2, the video. Your video is an extension of your application. This is your chance to prove how great of a leader you really are, and that's on campus and in your community. So talk about your goals as a global leader and what you hope to bring back to your campus and community. Give them a feel of who you really are, not just as a student or a leader, but also as a person. And then remember, you don't have to be Spike Lee. Your phone or your computer is all you'll need. Tip 3, the letter of recommendation. If you're planning to apply, begin identifying your recommender now. Spend some time thinking about who the recommender should be. I suggest finding someone that knows you well and can speak to the eligibility criteria. This could be a professor, an advisor, or another administrator on campus. Help your recommender help you by giving them the materials they need to write you a strong recommendation letter. Share a rough draft of your video or an outline. Share your application materials. Even send them a copy of your resume or CV, which likely highlights some of your leadership experience. Also, spend some time talking to them about information that you would hopefully like to see included in the recommendation letter. Lastly, when you send an email as a follow-up, include a few bullet points highlighting the experiences you've had with the recommender to help jog their memory. Tip 4, request your transcript today. Don't delay what can be done today. Your video will take the most time in preparation, so check off the less time-consuming items as soon as possible. Remember, you want each component of your application to introduce a different aspect of who you are in relation to the selection criteria.
Right, so the selection process, just as Ashley said, it's all about you as a holistic person and student. Obviously, there is that GPA requirement, but also they want to see that you are passionate and emphasize your leadership skills and your desire to improve leadership skills and your communication, and just your overall passion for learning about positive social change and cross-cultural respect and understanding, which you would get through this program. They select 16 students for each summer experience through the Frederick Douglass. And that would cover your full cost of travel and your participation over the 4 weeks and the 3 credits that you would get through the course offered by CIEE. Additionally, if you are selected, you would have the opportunity to present back at Davidson upon your return, which you would be able to coordinate with the Office of Education Abroad in order to showcase and share this experience for future potential applicants at Davidson.
This is practically unheard of, but this is another reason that Alexandra and I are encouraging you to apply. If you do the application and you meet all of the qualifications, whether you're selected or not to be a Frederick Douglass Fellow, you will be granted a $1,500 grant to use towards another CIEE program by spring 2023. A $1,500 grant. That's amazing. Other programs are not offering a grant for those that aren't selected to participate in the program. So definitely capitalize on this opportunity. Also, if you're concerned, there are other programs and grants available to help with the cost of travel to go along with the $1,500 grant that's being made available through CIEE. And that information is available through the Office of Education Abroad.
Yeah, so that $1,500 award just for applying and being a qualified applicant is huge. Like Ashley said earlier, if you are a sophomore and apply as a sophomore but don't get accepted, obviously we would encourage you to continue applying for the Frederick Douglass for future summers, but you could always reach out to the Office of Education Abroad to talk about other CIEE experiences for either semester or summer. And use that $1,500 towards another CIEE experience. And yes, as Ashley said, sorry, you are eligible for other CIEE scholarships that they would take into account as an applicant of the Frederick Douglass Fellowship. So with that, if you are excited about this and you're hoping to apply, I would definitely encourage you to set up an appointment with either myself or Ernesto Waynes in our office to discuss this experience as a whole and the application process. Again, there's about maybe less than 3 weeks till the deadline, February 1st. And so you would need to complete a Davidson Summer Partner Program application, which is available on our website. And within that portal, it gives you all the step-by-step process of all the things that you need to do on the Davidson side in order to receive credit and get approval to study abroad from the Davidson side. And also, again, you would need to submit that Frederick Douglass Fellowship application by February 1st as well, regardless of their February 14th deadline.
So hopefully you are excited and ramped up and ready to go. As Alexandra said, February 1st is your deadline. For more information about the fellowship, please visit the CIEE website or contact Alexandra through Education Abroad or myself through the Matthews Center for Career Development. We are more than happy to help review your application materials and walk you through the process. Good luck, and we hope to see you soon.